All right, what's up everyone? Fritz here again with another bot tutorial, and today I'm going to be going over the basics for Kodai. Kodai is definitely one of the best bots on the market and has been for years. I started botting about 3 years ago at this point, and at that time Kodai was one of the top 2 or 3 bots in the market. Over the past couple years, more or less, it has stayed in the top tier that entire time, and it does have a lot of modules that are dominant on certain sites, while also providing modules for several other sites that it's not necessarily quite as good on. So we'll go into that more now. But with that being said, pretty much the main purpose for Kodai for sneaker botting is going to be Footsites, Finish Line, and JD Sports. It has always been a dominant bot on those sites, and while it does provide a Supreme, Yeezy Supply, and Shopify module, if those are your focuses, I would definitely recommend getting another bot. But if you are trying to hit Footsites, there are a lot of good drops on Footsites, Finish Line, JD Sports. This is an outstanding option. Kodai has an extremely user-friendly UI, so it is very easy to use. Some bots are more complicated than others. This is definitely a very simple one. This is one of the first top bots I ever used a couple years back, and I still use it to this day. If you watch any of my live cops lately, I definitely use it all the time on Footsites. Probably my favorite bot right now for Footsites. I was able to figure it out pretty quickly. This video today should help you out if you're just starting to use it. But it is probably the bot that I have had the most overall success with. After counting up, I've hit over 400 pairs with this bot alone over the past couple years. So it's been very good to me. You know, like I said, I'll go over some of the basics today, but this really is a bot that has been working for me for years now and continues to do an outstanding job. One of the best features that Kodai has, in my opinion, is how it handles Captchas for Footsites. Instead of using AYCD or needing to be dependent on that service, Kodai handles it in bot. You're still using your third-party solver keys, so you still need to get third-party solvers. But this allows you to enter those keys just into the bot, and you don't have to depend on another service. Kodai also doesn't require that you sign into any of the Gmails that you're using for Footsites, so it really is, it's very easy to do. Like I said, you don't need an AYCD key, which costs you more per month. All you need to do is get one of those third-party solver keys. As you will see in my video, I have more than one, but that's up to you. And then again, you don't even have to sign into your Gmails as long as you have a proxy in there. So, you know, those are some of the features. Another thing is just how easy it is to adjust the delays. I personally can't stand when bots don't allow you to adjust the delays at all. I think that that's really nice, especially for Footsites and how they've been lately. Kodai, I'm starting my tasks about 30 minutes early. The fact that I can adjust the delays helps me not get banned as much and can help me preserve a little more data. So that is a very, very nice feature. Just helps overall and gives you a little more control over the specifics on the drop. The bot's currently, if you're looking to get into it, the bot is currently reselling for around $1,000, which to me is just absolutely insane. A, because I've seen the bot around 6-7K within the past year or so, and B, just because of the fact that like this bot, if you learn to run it and have the resources to run it correctly, you can make that 1K back in a drop, and I'm not exaggerating. You know, again, if you are starting off and it's one of your first times botting, don't go in there thinking that's going to happen, because it's just not, and that's going to frustrate you. But this price is really reasonable. 6 to 7K for this bot is outrageous. Like even if you are a skilled botter, when they get to that price, it starts to be a little ridiculous. So again, I know a lot of my videos lately I've been saying, you know, if you've got money to invest in a bot, or you've been waiting, or this or that, now's the time. I don't see how this bot could be reselling for less than $1,000. Like I said, just because of what it does. Obviously, all bots aren't created equally, but you know, take into consideration, you know, if you're looking to make those investments, I don't think you're going to get a better price than that. And if you are, it's going to be about $100, but you know, up to you. Kodai is able to be rented, so I love that, obviously. That's how, if you've listened to any of my videos on how I got started, I started renting and rented this bot for a long time. And you can get this bot for like $20, $30, $40 a drop right now. So again, you're not putting up too much capital up front, kind of lowering your risk profile. That is always good. And then just one more thing that I've mentioned before I get into the video. One thing that I have noticed and seen others mention as well is the fact that ISPs do a lot better than residentials on Kodai. I don't know for what reason this may be. But that's something I've heard other people talk about, and I've also noticed anecdotally. So it's just something when you're planning your drop and your setup and everything, but it is something multiple people say or have experienced. I have hit over 20 pairs on multiple drops in the past month or two alone with this bot. So right now, if you're listening to this at the end of 2021, this bot is on a hot streak and is definitely doing really well. And one more thing that's just kind of random is the fact that like Kodai's checkout notifications are the best in the game. I know that's a weird thing to be the best at, but when you hit on Kodai, you are not going to miss it if you're just looking at the screen. Big and bright blue up in the right-hand corner gives you all of the information you need, the task group, the proxy, all that good stuff. So that is a really nice feature. Some bots, you know, it can be a little difficult to even tell when you check out. That's not the case with Kodai. It makes it very obvious. So another good little feature. But as always, feel free to leave any comments, questions, debate topics in the comment section below. Like always, I really do try to reply to every comment and question. So let me know if you think of anything I missed or if anything that could be helpful to others. And other than that, check back later this week as I should have another live cop video up. And until then, enjoy the footage. All right, so today we are going to go over Kodai. This is one of my favorite bots, one of the bots I've had the most success on. So we're going to go over this in full today. You know, just a general overview on everything and how to set it up, where everything is, how to navigate the dashboard, and all of that. So just starting off, right, if you click on the guy up here, it'll take you right here. You know, you can check for your updates, go to the home page, all that good stuff up here. We have our releases tab, right, where it's going to take you to your releases for a drop. We've got profiles right here, proxies, captchas, and settings. So those are the general categories, and we will break those down each right now in further detail. Alright, so starting off here, we've got our webhook notification area. You can try this, there's plenty more on the end of it, but this is your general webhook. This is where you're going to copy and paste from your Discord. So again, you would need to get this from your Discord, and this is just going to show you everything that's happening. So it'll show you information on what's checking out, it'll show you failed checkouts, it'll just show you what's going on your Discord. And if you are checking out, it's going to give you just useful information on what's checking out, what proxy category it's under, how long it took, all of that. They really do have excellent notifications on this bot. They pop up like right here. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you can see those popping up. Over here, we have just miscellaneous, right? So you've got, you know, I mean, you can automatically report program errors. You can show pay with PayPal option. Down here you can add gift cards. I don't do too much of that, might be in the future, but this is where you would add gift cards. You would just click right there and that would allow you to upload them. And then Shopify, if you are using Kodai for Shopify, this is where those settings are, and you can put that webhook in there. It'll be slightly different. And then again down here you've got your shipping manager, so that's where you would put in shipping rates and different things like that to speed up the process. So this is just the general settings area. It's where you deactivate up here. Always make sure, no matter what you do on this page, that you hit save at the end, and that will make sure that everything is saved and you're good to go and make those adjustments. Alright, next up we have our Captcha area. So this is where you are going to input your captchas. So if I wanted to make a new one, right, I've got these right here just with my proxies loaded. I would just go right here, new proxy, right? Oh. Right there, bam, bam, right? And then this would, if I put in a real proxy, this would show up here, right? And then I would log into my Gmail, and then I'd put, and you know, log in, and it would save everything, and then once I exit it out, this would be here, all right? So if you want to look at your proxy or edit it, right, that's where it pops up. Make sure you always save your changes. Oh, excuse me, just burped. Make sure you always save your changes right here. All right, and then you go back to here. Now, something to keep in mind with this. When you're doing Footsites right now, if they've got Qt up, you don't even need to sign in.
So just remember that, right? It's not like some bots where you've got to sign in. If you wanted to sign in, you would go to the YouTube right here, right? And like I said, it would pop up and you would sign in. And then this is what actually opens up the actual solver. So if I wanted to open up the solver, I'd go here, I'd pick what I'm using it for. This would be Footsites. Open it, and it pops up right here. Okay, now that wouldn't do anything because, you know, it doesn't have a Captcha in it that works, but that's where you would do everything right there. You do want auto click checked off. And then, yeah, like I said, for Footsites right now, you do not even need to log in. Makes it very, very easy. This bot's been dominant on Footsites lately, so this is nice and easy area right here. This is also, like I said, where you would do it for Yeezy Supply, Footsite, Shopify, all of them. Just again, from clicking on that and picking there when you actually open the harvester. Alright, moving on to proxies. Again, very simple area, right? If I wanted to make a category new, then I would go 1, right, and I would save. Now, you've got your lists here. Your list will pop up. You put as many as you want in here. As always, make sure you hit save. Just a quick tip, if you want to make the proxies localhost, right? Localhost is a proxy on your machine's IP. So you would just type that in there, localhost, and then that would use your machine's IP. But again, with Kodai, you're going to be running Footsites mostly and Finish Line JD. So you will want to be using proxies, but again, just a very simple area, right? You can test them here too if you want, but very easy to put in. Make, like I said, some bots, I got to hammer this home. Make sure you hit save, and you'll be good to go here. But again, just very straightforward, very easy to use, and that's where you're going to input all your proxy lists. Moving on to profiles in Kodai. So with this, right, and with any larger setup, you're going to want to use import profiles. Now, not all bots have this, but most bots that are any good right now have this, where you can make profile groups. All right, so I can obviously just click this, you know, and go through this and make my profiles manually. That is always an option. All right, or I can do this. I can go to import. I can select a file. All right, now this is a little detail oriented. If this is your first time using Kodai, notice I selected the file. If I don't want everything else to delete, I need to click import profiles onto existing. All right, and if I want these new profiles in a group, I need to select this. If you don't select this, it's going to erase everything you have. So please just make sure that you're aware of that. If I wanted a new group, I'd put that right there and I'd continue. All right. It would then ask you for a passphrase. I'm not going to make these because I don't want to just mess up my current profiles. But if you did that, you would then have a file pop up here that said new. So that's how you would go about making profiles. I know that when I started off, it didn't seem like a big deal to be able to import and make groups. But I promise you that as you get a little better at this and have more resources, that is a very valuable feature. So I really, you know, I mean, it is nice to be able to group everything so that during your setup, it's easier to select the appropriate profiles and not just have to, you know, select them manually each time. So this does allow you a lot more flexibility when setting up, to just do things a lot faster, especially when you get to the point where you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of virtual credit cards. This feature is very nice. I know I might be talking about that a little much, but it is very nice that you can group these very easily to make your task creation just overall a more fluid process. All right. So there's your profiles. Next we'll move on to the actual releases and how to go about setting those up. All right. So moving on to task creation. All right, let's say that we're here. We're going to go to releases. If I want to make a new one, so I've got a couple up here, right? You can see the layout here. Oh, gotta switch the So you see the layout here, okay? Now, if I wanted to make a new task group, I would go to that plus sign right there. If I want to go back to the main menu, I go right here. But I'm going to go to releases. And let's go with James. Alright, now from here, I really like Kodai, and this is a big reason why. It gives you a lot of control over everything up here. This is where you're going to do your delays. This is where you're going to pick your proxies. This is where you're going to pick skew or multi-skew, right? And then you would just type in that there. Now, over here, we've got some settings. This is where you're going to configure your gift cards. So if you are planning on using gift cards, this is a feature you will need to use. And then we've got, this is in regards to when it's monitoring the site. So you can ignore data dump captchas, and you can have it monitor less intensively, therefore using less data. So those are options. Now, this is the big one here for Footsites at least, is the fact that this is where you're going to input your third-party Captcha solver keys. So if you are not familiar with that, what these are is 2Captcha, anti-Captcha, and Cap Monster. Yeah, they've got Cap Monster right here. Those are all separate companies that you go to and purchase solves from. So you'd go to one of these companies, you'd put down like 15 bucks on their site, and what they're going to do for you is they're going to solve your captchas. Now, like I said, this is a separate company. You need to go to them and find them, or find these three and purchase some data and solves on them. You would then enter that, you know, 2Captcha, if you got a 2Captcha key, space, dash, space, enter your key. I'm not going to show this for obvious reasons because it includes my key. But if you looked at so if you're on my Kodai and you went to one of these that I'm going to run today and actually clicked there, you would see pop up 2Captcha and then a key, anti-Captcha and then a key, Cap Monster and then a key, second 2Captcha and then a key, second anti-Captcha and then a key, second Cap Monster and then a key. So I personally have 6 of them loaded up in there. That's how I go about doing it, so that I have those in there. You would want to click Enable Third-Party Captcha Solving for Qt if it's a Qt drop. If it's not, and Qt is not up, you would go here for Data Dump. So this is an area where there's a little more nuance and detail. You do need to remember that you need to upload these if you're going to use it. And if you do that, Kodai is just going to solve those for you in the background. So we would have gone back to here, right, captchas, we would have uploaded one of these, and then we would have this all checked off in here, entered and checked off, and that would solve in the background for you. So that's a big piece of this with Footsites right now, is you need to have that data in there. Some bots use AYCD AutoSolve. This one does not. It just does it in-house, in bot. So that is very nice. Again, just over here, like I said, if you notice, I didn't click save last time, so none of these saved, right? So again, I'd be right there, and if I clicked this and saved, then that would be enabled. Okay, so you do want this on the majority of drops right now as far as the captcha solving. You can schedule your tasks to start at a specific time. So if if you've got a lot of tasks and you just want them up and running at a certain time, that's where you would input that information, right? 10, 20, 30 p.m. a.m. For task creation, you're going to go to this button right here. And again, I can show all profiles, or I can show that group. So that would pop up here. Right? And I can also create use all profiles. So if I did that, and over here I select size. With the size, right, it doesn't give you the flexibility to click multiples, but what it does do is allows you to have preferred sizing. So if you want to, back in the settings, there's a category where you can do preferred settings for specific cards or profiles. Meaning that for those cards or profiles, you could have preferred, say, size 6, size 10, size 12. and it would know on that profile for that preferred sizing to go for only those sizes. Random size, you know, extra large, small, that, regular US sizes. So you've got to either do the preferred or just pick one. Let's say we just want a size 7, we'd go out here, right, and these are all going to be size 7. So that is how you create your tasks. And again, this isn't a very complicated bot. There's not all that much going on. And like I said, it really does do one or two things extremely well. It does Footsites extremely well, Finish Line, JD Sports extremely well, and then it has modules for other sites. So let's say that we did Yeezy Supply. You know, they've got that. And this would have very similar things, right? What you're going to get here, there's no delay. You're going to put your link in right here. Product SKU, proxies, very simple. Right now, this isn't the best bot on Yeezy Supply, but it does give you the option to run it. And then I'll do one for JD Sports real quick because I know this is a big one. And this goes for Finish Line, right? If I did this, and just the one thing I'll say here too that is that when you're inputting, right, you need to get this information from a cook group, but if you're doing JD Sports or Finish Line, it's going to need to be in this format. So it would need to be the prod, P-R-O-D, actually type it out, then that number, comma, space, number, and this is the color code and something else. But you do need to input that in that format. You would get that from your cook group or a link. And then again, same deal down here. You're just going to pick a profile. And it'll be right here. And you can select desktop or mobile. So just quick rundowns. If you know, this is what, like this morning, I'm going to run a couple slots. It's just really quick. Got my third-party solvers in there. So should be good to go. That's, like I said, that's pretty much it for the bot. It's really not that complicated of a bot. I really like its simplicity and everything. Like I mentioned, if you do check out with this bot, they have the best notifications. They just pop up right here on the screen. You can't miss them. Bright green, greenish, bluish. So, you know, that's all I've got for this bot today. Please let me know any questions or comments below. Let me know if I missed anything. And other than that, thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all next time.